You guys know what time it is. It's time for Jon Ferrian Live. It is Sunday night, 7 p.m. Pacific time. We are right here live on Facebook, ready for all of you to come on in and drop it in the comments where you're watching from. Anybody who's watching, you know the routine. Get in there. Let's live large. Let's tell everybody where you're watching from. And let's have a good old time tonight. I can't wait to get on here with Ryan and Aaron, Aaron and Ryan, Ryan and Aaron, Aaron and Ryan, I don't know. It's the Stable Mountain Rental Crew. We're going to have these guys on tonight, and I've had the honor of meeting these gentlemen in person multiple times, and I can't say I've ever walked away from the conversation without a smile on my face. It's always a blast. So drop it in the comments right now. Let us know where you're watching from, and we'll get going on this show tonight. So there seems to be a delay in the comments, but I think they're coming in now. I see a thumbs up going on from somebody. There we go. Bill Yeager's here. He's watching. He's watching from Washington State. Drop it in the comments. So you guys, what you're looking at here is we've got a new t-shirt logo. Right now, in the web, the header of the show, you'll kind of see in the message of the show, you'll see the web link for my my merchandise. I got the Live Large shirts are still there, but we've got a brand new logo from Jessica Carter from Extreme Realities. She has dropped in this amazing logo, and there's a couple more I'm going to show you too, guys. Like, there's more coming. So, BRAP, Live Large, got a sled upside down in there. It's an amazing shot. Those are on there in the t-shirts. And then we have another t-shirt here. Let me pull this one up here. I've got several of them I'm going to show you guys. So here's another one. Let's drop this one down. Let's drop this one down. So check this one out, guys. We call this one the topo, or the topographical Live Large. So we got Live Large across there. You got a bunch of trees across it. Got some topographical lines through it too. New shirt logos on the website, ready to rock and roll. And then check this out. Brand new Canadian flag. This one has been widely requested. You guys can see the one that we dropped here about a month ago was the Live Large American flag, the USA flag. And everybody said, like, where's the Canadian flag? So we made a Canadian flag Live Large shirt logo as well. That's available and up on the website as well. And as a reminder, folks, these shirts and merchandise and hats and everything, we got beanies now too. So the hat I'm wearing tonight that you guys will see here in a second, check that out. So I've got, got lots going on here tonight. So you can see the hat I'm wearing tonight. So this same logo is available on a black beanie now also for only $20. So if you need a beanie for throwing in your sled for the season, do it. But check it out. All this merchandise, all the money, the profits go to Live Large University Scholarship Fund over at Erie. We gave away that big sled sweepstakes just the other night on Friday night, raised $167,000. That's not enough, so I want to keep putting more in there in the bank. But all that money continues to go over there into Erie, and you can get those ordered and come in. But again, the logo's there for you. And for sharing and winning the show tonight, you guys are going to be in to win on Fly Racing goggles. So follow Fly Racing on Facebook and on Instagram. Get it all going on there. We got a lot of business going on, guys. But bottom line is, guess what? With all this Live Large merchandise, this is what you got a chance to win. All orders, and all items ordered, every single item ordered is eligible to win one of 3 prizes that'll be drawn for after December 31st closes. We'll do it the first week or so of January. Got a free Ride Skills Day with Ride Rasmussen style. Brett Rasmussen, got that up for grabs. I've got the Mountain Lab, the Mountain Riding Lab. Man, there's too many mountain companies out there, but the Mountain Riding Lab has put up a level 1 avalanche class for grabs, and Mad Ends has put a level 1 mountain avalanche class up for grabs as well. So there's 3 total prizes just for ordering a shirt or some merchandise. Let the money go over to Erie, and then you're in to win for an amazing prize also. So follow Fly Racing as well. Get this shirt out, and we'll get this all started. So I'm going to drop these down, and we're going to show you guys Aaron and Ryan here in 3, 2, and 1. Oh, my goodness. Oh, sorry, guys. Knock, knock. Anybody there?
Hey.
Hey. Oh, there you are. I almost think I caught Aaron napping there for a second.
He was sleeping. I saw it happen.
Yeah. He's had a long day at work. But, hey, guys, welcome to Jon Ferrian Live. I'm so excited to have you guys on.
Oh, thanks, John. We appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Aaron, how are you doing? Are you sure it's exciting? Are you sure it's exciting? Because you don't look excited, Aaron. Ryan, is he excited?
I am.
Ryan
You
knows
can-
Aaron really well. Is this Aaron excited?
This is Aaron excited.
Okay, just
Both
checking.
of us, we're not that super out in your face emotional type of guys. We're the show no emotion.
Well, the good looking,
Type guys.
the good looking, calm, cool, and collected.
You saw the corner of my mouth perk up. That's
Ooh,
a smile.
that's a
You
smile.
can't
Yeah,
see
that's
it.
right.
Well, you know who?
It's a twinkle.
See it very
It's a twinkle in his eye, almost like Santa
Well,
Claus.
well, you know who?
Curve of a,
You know, there's a few like celebrities that are out there, Aaron. That you know, I've been told that you have some lookalike celebrities, and like those little smirks like that, it just makes me think. But I can't think of who it might be. Has anybody ever told you that maybe you look like some kind of a celebrity? Has anybody ever told you that before?
yeah.
Which-
Yeah, I've got that before.
Do your wife tell you that, or like who tells you that?
No, I don't want to hear what the wife has in mind. But,
Okay.
we were going to a drive-in movie theater. I got compared to Tom Cruise, and then
Yeah.
we were grabbing dinner somewhere, and
Okay.
somebody said it looked like Brad Pitt.
Yeah. So
take
everybody
it.
in the
we can all have dreams, right?
yeah. So
Whether you
in
agree or not doesn't
in the-
really matter.
in the comments-
it's a fact. It
So
happens.
everybody who's watching in the comments, before I kind of unveil who I think Aaron looks like here, drop it in the comments and let us know. Does he look like Tom Cruise? Does he look like Brad Pitt? Like who does he look like? Teen Wolf, the Wolfman. I mean, that's a lot of hair going on there too. Maybe it's like Teen
I
Wolf.
can do that.
But
I
there's
can do
something
that,
else.
yeah.
There's some other distinguishing feature that just kind of stands out. And so drop it in the comments, everybody, who you think he looks like. And then Aaron, Ryan, you too. Like I'm going to come back to that. I'm going to see what kind of comments we get in here. But Ryan, I honestly think you kind of look like a celebrity too. Like, has anybody ever told you look like a celebrity? Anybody that you can think of?
Like Paul Bunyan, maybe.
Oh,
I
I
think
grew up.
Jeremiah Johnson,
I swear to God, I grew up in
Grizzly
Brainerd.
Adams.
I grew up in Brainerd, Minnesota, which is the home of Paul Bunyan. I swear to God.
Yeah.
I can see the resemblance, but is anything else?
There. Well, other than that,
I mean, look at those
I'll tell you what
arms.
everybody else says about me. So
Yeah, I mean
It's like he's
it's
swinging an axe every day.
yeah. So
I-
DJ Osborne says Aaron Pitt. So Aaron Pitt, like maybe it's Aaron Pitt. Is that what you? Well, you guys, I did a little
I love
research
that
ahead of
guy.
time. I did a
love
little
that
research
guy.
on my mom says Sasquatch, like a Bigfoot, but I think she
Okay.
I look like
I'm down
Bigfoot too.
with that.
That's all right.
Yeah, both of you guys, maybe we all can. So let me go back to Aaron for a second. So I did a little Google search before the show, and this is what I came up with. And just so you guys know, Aaron and Ryan, you guys are going to get covered up for a second. We're going to pop up some celebrity lookalike images, and I'm going to go with Joe Dirt. Oh my God, look at the resemblance. I've got a picture of Aaron Snow, Aaron Case, really. But you might now have a nickname of Aaron Snow in this dramatic side-by-side
Oh,
comparison with Joe
Oh, I love
Dirt.
it.
You guys think, let me know in the comments if you think maybe there's a resemblance there. I mean, look at that head of hair. I mean, Joe Dirt,
Aaron.
he doesn't have a beard going like Aaron does.
Eric, you need to
Yeah.
cut your hair. You should cut your beard like
I'll
that.
give you that.
Yeah. So, okay. So we
Well,
got the,
that's, we need to go into that if we have time. I have
okay.
a plan.
Okay.
Of the hair going bye-bye. There's a plan.
All right. So then let's go back to Ryan for a second here. So DJ Osborne thought that was funny. We got a few other folks that are LMAO, so we're having a good time with this. But Ryan, like I come back to you, buddy, and I'm thinking like, man, who is your celebrity lookalike? Who is it? I'm thinking when I was a little kid. I'm a little bit older. How old are you guys? Call it out. Aaron, how old are you?
38.
Older than me, so
Okay, and so Ryan, you're even younger.
37.
Wiser,
Well, like
better
by 4
looking.
months.
So you guys, this might have been a little before your time because as I was growing up as a little kid, I watched one of my favorite shows every night after school. I came home and I watched Grizzly Adams. We've got Ben, the grizzly bear, and Grizzly Adams. And oh my God, there's a picture of Ben. Oh my gosh, that's actually me. Oh shoot, I thought that was the bear again there for a second.
Oh, that's not Ben. That's you.
No, that's me. Oh my gosh, I got confused when I did a Google search that showed Ben again, and so like obviously Google thought I looked like a grizzly bear myself. And then we have Searle Adams, as in Grizzly Adams. Oh my gosh, look at the two of you guys there, right side by side.
Oh,
So-
yes. That is
I think
just like it.
the hairdos on
Right?
both of us. I think we're pretty good shape there, guys. And so
Yeah. That's like a pretty good representation, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean we've got the side by side there. So Ryan, you got a little out of center there on me too. If you want to kind of center your camera back again,
Is
I
that
think you got excited looking at all those celebrity lookalike pictures and stuff.
I bumped. I got super stoked.
I know, you get exciting. So hopefully everybody had a little fun at that too. I appreciate Aaron and Ryan having a little goofy time with me too. It's not too often. Like all the time we talk about super serious stuff like avalanche safety and education, and sometimes I just want to goof off, especially after all the pressure of that Friday night show and we gave away a brand new sled and sled decks and avalanche classes. That was a fun show, but that was a lot of stress. I'm just telling you.
Yeah, I'll bet that was. How did it end up going? You guys feel like you're pretty happy about it?
Oh yeah, we blew away all of our goals and expectations. We were hoping to raise about 100 grand. That was like kind of our stretch goal, and we ended up raising 167 grand. And so
oh shoot,
that didn't.
How much of that came in? Like
can't be unhappy with that.
It's actually pretty amazing, Ryan, was that you asked how fast that came and stuff too. Is like we started the contest, I think, back right around September 1st. So we had September, October, November, and then it was really the last 2 weeks. So I think right before Thanksgiving, it had jumped up to about $96,000. So we were doing really well. We were happy, and I'm like, oh man, hopefully we get it over 100,000. And then all of a sudden, boom, it just blew up. And we grew another 70 grand plus in the last 2 weeks, like week and a half, 2 weeks. It was just insane.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Aaron, you're still not quite centered, or not Aaron, you're fine, but Ryan, you're still not centered.
Ryan, do I need to go the other way?
Yep.
Which way do I need to go?
Yep. Go that way.
Yeah, that right there. Yeah, just
right
center
there.
yourself in your chair.
Yep.
Should be good.
I mean, I call you Grizzly Searle Adams, and you get all like in your own head, and you're excited about stuff, right?
Because I like to, get out into the woods, away from people.
I know, like you kind of.
I'll just stand off screen, right? That'll be good.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, enough goofing around here. Let's get back to the show and talk things here. And so I've got Aaron Case and I've got Ryan Searle here. These are two longtime friends who've been writing in the Boondocker film series for quite a few years. We're going to talk about that tonight. We also, I'm just going to have you guys do a little bit of an introduction too. And so kind of just like maybe a 3-minute quick high level. Ryan, why don't we start with you and just tell us a little bit about kind of where you're at, kind of where you grew up, and, maybe what your day job is. I think that's always interesting for people to know when someone's in the sled industry, what their kind of quote unquote day job is. So.
Okay. Well, grew up basically 3 miles from where I'm at right now, so must be a homebody. But grew up in Searle, Idaho. Grew up on a farm. My dad farmed for till 2 years ago when he retired.
Okay.
I ended up taking over the farm. So as we grew up, one of the biggest things is during the winter we would go up to our cabin in Island Park for 2 weeks straight for Christmas.
Okay.
And then multiple weeks throughout the winter, right? Because that's the time that we as farmers here in Southeast Idaho get to play. So snowmobiling was just in my blood from day one.
Yeah.
I can remember running around on a Pantera 440.
Yeah.
And just working our way up, El Tigger 6000, all the way up. I think the first time I totaled the sled, I was 8.
Very good.
Got my mom's Prowler 440 and just center punched. But I ended up going to Utah. Went to school down there. Got a bachelor's in finance and business management, and then I came back to the farm here and live here with my wife and 5 kids. So.
Well, I was gonna ask because the other night when we tried to do our testing, both of you guys had quite the rowdy households going on. It was almost to the point where we couldn't talk to each other. There was so much going on, and I loved it. Right? It was the awesomeness of these guys are family guys, and the kids are crawling all over you, in and out of the room. How did you guys get up? Did you give them all like a sleeping pill for tonight, or what happened?
Ooh, my kids are downstairs watching a movie or something, I think.
Don't wake them up, huh?
I got the head nod from my wife. That's what they're doing.
Awesome.
And I pulled out the Grizzly Adams and did the big old mean grizzly bear, like, don't you make a word or I'll beat you down. So.
I'll put you in the corner for the rest of your life, right?
Yeah.
How about you, Aaron? What'd you do to keep the kids, in quarantine tonight? Did you lock them in the basement, or you got them with some Valium or something?
Yeah,
or what happened?
I just beat them until they stopped making noise. Threatened to string them up by their toenails. And then we're like, okay, we don't want that. Calm down, guy.
It was awesome. All right, Ryan, anything else before I go over to Aaron and get a little introduction from Aaron?
No. Everything else, basically, we start talking anymore, and it's just going to be about me and Aaron. So,
Yep. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, because you guys basically grew up together. I love that story. We'll get to that in a little bit. But Aaron, give us a little high level introduction. Kind of who you are, where you live, what your day job is, all that kind of fun stuff. Let's keep it 3-4 minutes, and then we'll dive into some good stuff.
I'm just a farm boy from southeast Idaho as well. Grew up in Shelley. Did that all the way through high school, and then went down to Utah for an education. I made some mistakes and didn't play it as good as Ryan did, so I only ended up with an associate's, not a dual bachelor's. So a little bit of naivety, a little bit of getting lied to. I should have known better, but nonetheless, that's how it ended up. Worked for a lot of engineering firms down in Utah.
The heckling's coming. Ryan, what were you going to say?
Well, I was going to say, it kind of started off like You, Me, and Dupree. Have you ever watched that show?
I don't think I have.
Like
no.
the first like we'd maybe only been married. Me and my wife been married.
Date us like
weeks.
That. If people look up You, Me, and Dupree when that came out, people know how old we are. It came out like 20 years ago.
Movie about us, but anyways, Aaron ended up sleeping on our couch for the first like 3 weeks of our marriage. So
yeah, it was super awkward, and there's more reasons as to why that's awkward outside of what Ryan's talked about. But here I am, like I go down to I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go to Utah. Ryan's down there. He's like, hey, they have good schools down here. You should come down here. So I'm like, okay. And then I happen to hop on a job board and see a job in the field that I want to get into. And I go down there and interview, and the guy's like, calls me back. Me and Ryan are driving back to Idaho, and he calls me on the way back to Idaho, and he's like, hey, we can offer you this. When can you start? And I'm like, I don't know. When do you want me to start? He's like, Monday. And so I look at Ryan. I'm like, hey, buddy, old pal, buddy.
Crashing on your couch, huh?
Crashing on the couch, which is really, really good because Aaron dated my wife while we were in high school.
Oh, I remember that story. That's hilarious.
So
Bethany's not watching me, is she?
I think she's sitting right next to him. He keeps looking over like she's sitting right there off camera. I want her head to pop in and wave over.
You know how awesome it's gonna be when you see a little fist come from his left side and knock him clean out of the camera. That's gonna be the best shot ever.
It's a good.
Oh, John.
You guys.
Ryan,
talking about it so we can see a little.
Ryan, does she want to? Does she want to lean in and give Aaron the finger right here live on camera? Like she could if she wants.
Give me the finger. How am I getting the finger? You tell me like yesterday's garbage. You got a hunk over there.
Oh, you guys are
There's
amazing.
only like 5 people watching this, Bethany. It's not that big a deal.
Exactly. Yeah, like four tops. Like 4. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh God, we better change the subject while you guys are still married.
Right. Yeah.
Shaking her head like, why did I ever date that guy?
Come on, you don't have to be mean about it. Come on, dude.
All right.
So that got me the job. Moved in with Ryan till I found a place with a cousin and a couple of roommates. We finally got everything figured out there and got moved out. And then just worked for engineering firms. I was down in Utah for, I don't know, 6 years, 8 years, something like that. It was pretty lengthy. And then moved back to Idaho, working for a bunch of engineering firms, and then wanted to get into project management a little bit. And then I've been a project manager for the past 8 or so, just getting more experience. And so that's kind of the current status right now.
Awesome.
And I've done a lot of freelance work, a lot of technical stuff, a lot of IT support, and website stuff and graphic design and whatnot.
Yep. And you're, and I think you kind of included in there too, but I was kind of a little distracted with all the craziness going on. Did you cover the fact that you currently work over at Boondockers Turbos and, are part of that still or no?
Yeah, I am. Yeah,
okay.
I still work over at Boondockers.
I mean, you were there this summer. I mean, maybe you got fired over the summer for all I know. I'm like, oh crap, maybe I shouldn't have brought that up.
Oh, I have to worry about getting fired all the time, man. I can't. I'm not the best guy to have around.
Yeah. No, it was actually kind of fun. I was in town literally over the summer, and I walk into Boondock. I was like messaging back and forth, and I end up getting a hold of Stephen Marlini and walk in, and I'm doing the tour, and Stephen introduces me to you, and I go like, no, I don't know him. I don't know who the heck he is. No, just kidding. It's like,
who's this guy?
Yeah, we're old friends. We had dinner together. Ryan and Aaron and I all had dinner together at the Spokane Snow Show I guess a little over a year ago now at this point in time, and that was my first time to get to hang out with you guys for any like period of time other than just a handshake and a hi, and fast friends at that point from my perspective. Maybe you guys feel differently after tonight's episode, but I'll put you guys in the friend category for now. I appreciate it. So so we got some questions here about John. Do these guys give you beard envy? And the answer is yes. Like, I can't grow a beard like either one of these two. I mean, I think if I just let it go long enough, I might be close to Ryan's. His is a little thinner, but he can go long. Like, I've gotten it down here a little ways, but I can just tell Aaron.
It gets thick out here.
Yeah. Aaron's beard is thick. Aaron's beard is the kind of beard that people die for. Like, I mean, you can't you couldn't make a fake beard that awesome. So.
Aaron's wife's jealous of his hair, so
I know. Well, Aaron Snow, that's his new nickname now, so you guys can start calling him Aaron Snow from now on, I guess.
Yeah, I wake up in the middle of the night because something scared me, and I go looking through the house to see what it was, and the scissors were moved, and so I suspect that.
Oh.
I suspect that she's trying to get my hair cut.
The barber's coming. The barber's coming.
The jealousy's getting too deep.
All right. Well, I'm going to pull the Band-Aid on this shenanigans for a few minutes, and let's talk business, guys, because you guys have an amazing business that you've kind of kicked off, right? Is it officially kicked off now, or are we still almost kicked off? Give me the quick headline on the status. Are we already moving, or are we not quite yet?
No, yeah, we're already moving. Officially, it's kicked off. We've fired all the paperwork. We're a real legit business with names and bank accounts and all that stuff. We're not just some fly-by-night guy. The outfitter stuff, that's We talked to a few people before we started it, and they give us a heads up that it
takes a while,
lengthy, right? And it takes some effort, and that's all proving to be true. And so we're chugging through it really good. We're in the final phases of the paperwork and getting plans and
very cool
permitting and stuff like that put together. And so we hope to still have that done. We hope to have all the paperwork stuff done this year and have approval early in the year next year. But the rental stuff, that's all.
Let's start at the headline. What do we call this place? It's Stable Mountain Rentals, right? Isn't that what we're calling this thing?
Yeah, Stable Mountain Rentals and Tours.
Awesome. And so let's, because in all this full disclosure, you guys were recently on a podcast with Rylan Rouser, and I had the honor of listening to that. So I already have kind of quite a few insights on kind of the different pieces of it too. And one thing that really caught my attention was the idea of how you guys came up with the name of Stable Mountain Rentals, and kind of what the double meaning or triple meaning is behind the name and why you guys came up with it. Yeah. So who wants to take that one on? Where does the phrase Stable Mountain Rentals come from, and what is the origins of what that's about?
Well, Aaron better take that one, because he just called me and said, "Hey, have you thought about a name?" And I'm like, "No," and he goes, "I got one."
We talked a couple of times, and so the Stable Mountain popped in my head, and I kind of got there. I was on a little train of thought. I was sitting there at Boondocker assembling a turbo, and all of a sudden my brain ran off on this whole Stable Mountain thing.
Yeah.
But I was worried about bringing it up to Ryan, because we've had a couple of businesses before that we've done together.
Mm-hmm.
And after we named them, I kind of pressured him into naming it what we named it. And neither one of us never really fully loved it.
Okay.
And it was kind of confusing. And so I was super nervous about suggesting it. And then he kind of does what he does with new information. He was kind of like, okay, I guess. All right.
Yeah, let me think about that.
You don't like it, you hate it. And
I didn't do that.
You never objected enough to stop it. So that's how we ended up with that. So where Stable Mountain comes from, it's a double meaning. Of course, we wanted something stable. We wanted a stable rental company that has a bunch of different products. It's more than just buying something out of the crate or something that's beat up or clapped out. We wanted it to be a really stable product that people could rent. We wanted it to be set up in a really clean, good sled that functions really well and has suspension, and something that Ryan and I would be okay with riding. And so we wanted it to be stable that way, but then it sounds inappropriate, but this last year I was really tore about Polaris and Arctic Cat. I rode the Arctic Cat a lot over the last 2 years, and I was really starting to dig it a lot, and I felt like it was. I just couldn't quite bring myself to it, and I was like, oh, you know what? I should just break down and buy an Arctic Cat anyway and stick it in the stable.
Yeah.
Stable of sleds.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where my head was at when I was putting turbos together a Boondocker, and all of a sudden my mind ran. I was like, oh, it's a stable snowmobile rental. It's a stable of sleds, and then I was like, it has to have something to do with the outdoors because we're all about the outdoors. We want to rent dirt bikes, UTVs, the whole kit and caboodle. And it's like me and Ryan just want to be outdoors. We want to tour outdoors. We want to be outdoors. We love hiking. We love backpacking. We're really into photography and hiking and doing stupid stuff for photography. And so just as I let the mind go, eventually just stable mountain, tried a bunch of stable outdoors, and me and Ryan talked about it a lot. And that's where it landed.
Awesome. Well, full disclosure, the hecklers are here. We have Jeff Dyer, Fatty is here. We've got Dan Gardner is here watching. They're referencing your buddy Shane. Like, I mean, the heckling has started. I'm just going to full warn you guys, right?
DJ needs to be a referee in there.
Yeah, well, DJ is just as bad as the rest of them. I think he's giving you crap too, but it's all because here's one thing I learned a long time ago. My mom's watching; she'll appreciate this. My mama taught me, if someone teases you, it's because they like you. If somebody really doesn't like you, they'll just ignore you and leave you alone. Like, they're just going to walk away. But if somebody's teasing you, it's because they like you. So just consider them all good friends, I guess.
They must love you, Aaron.
They must love you, Aaron.
They must love me. I am going to take it that way. I can be closed-minded enough to look at it like that. Yeah. I'm on that.
So Jeff Dyer's asking, are the guides stable?
As stable as the avalanche conditions, I guess.
Are you guys stable? I guess that's the quite mentally stable, I think, is what he's shooting for here. But again, the heckling has started.
Fatty, so.
Yep. Awesome.
We're as stable as Fatty is. We'll put it that guy. How about that?
Awesome.
Stable as Fatty.
Well,
man.
And that's when Aaron introduced the name. That was one of the things. I'm like, oh, dude, this works too because it works on the avalanche safety side of it, right? Like,
absolutely.
We want to be out on stable snow when we're out there touring people around. So,
amen. Yeah.
So I know Aaron's like, I don't know if Ryan really even liked it, but I really agreed with going that direction and running with it.
Well, and I did pop up you guys' logo to the one that you have on your Facebook page. It's the red barn with the mountain behind and the birds, flying above and stuff too. So I grabbed that and I'm sharing it with everybody now too. So this is your guys' company logo here that we have there too. Aaron will appreciate the fact that I'm using the logo to cover up Ryan's face, like. At least maybe our ratings will go up for a few minutes, right?
Or can you just cover all of it?
Well, you and I are both just covered up there, and we left Aaron hanging out there next to the logo. So, but that I just wanted to showcase the logo because I thought it was pretty cool too, and it kind of ties right in with what you guys are doing there. But let's talk a little bit about this concept of. Everywhere I've ever been, it's like they've got a fleet of Polaris's, or they have a fleet of Skidoos, or they have a fleet of Arctic Cats. But this concept of having a little bit of everything, that's a really unique concept. I'm sure it exists. It's not completely unique, but it's unique as far as an industry standard goes. And so let's talk through this concept of like what you guys are trying to accomplish with the multiple brands that are going on. And then I know part of what I've overheard too in our conversations ahead of time was you guys are doing a lot of performance parts on these sleds, right? And kind of building them the way you would ride them and that kind of thing too. So why don't you guys go into, and again, I don't know if you guys have already pre-decided who wants to talk about which part of it, but the various sleds and the performance upgrades in these sleds, I'm just going to turn it over to you guys. I don't know if maybe Ryan, you want to take this one, or Aaron, what are you going to do?
No, I can take it.
Sure.
Unless I say something bad, then Aaron can jump in and tell me I'm wrong. So I think some of it comes back to. Yeah, he just oversees the project. I do all the work, and then he puts a stamp on it. That's how the engineer works,
right?
And then takes all the credit. And then takes all the credit, right? That's how it works.
Takes all the credit. That's how it works. It kind of goes back to our youth again, right? So right as we graduated high school, we moved into my parents' cabin in Island Park. Worked all summer on a road construction crew, and then that winter, we worked at a rental shop in West Yellowstone. And our bosses were Shane and Bob, and they went through a bunch of different names. I think they landed on Snow Fun Inc. is what the name actually ended up being there. But they had that. They had every brand: Yamaha, Skidoo, Polaris, Arctic Cat.
Okay.
And we watched groups come in and just rent like one of each brand. Yeah. And then they would switch between them each day, and they'd come back and go, ooh, I really like this one. I really like that one. And sometimes they'd ask if they could trade them out because they wanted to stick on a Polaris or whatever. And so we saw the dynamic of that. And then I've been working with a group every year, helping them rent sleds, and we've been able to kind of rent a couple cats and Polarises and Skidoos, and watch this group of 9 to 15 people do the same thing, and watch them fall. Some of them really like the Skidoo, some of them like the cat, some like the Polaris, and they just kind of fall to one brand or the other. So as we were looking at putting this rental business together, we both just, from our experience, said there's no reason just to be name brand specific. We're not here. We're not a Matt Entz. We're not a Dan Adams. We're not a Chris Morant, right? We're not here to teach you how to ride. We're more than welcome to give you pointers and do that if that's what you want to do. We're confident enough in our riding ability that we can do that. But it's about having fun.
Oh, amen.
And that doesn't mean you have to be on a Polaris. As much as I love Polaris and think they are, I own one for a reason. Those other sleds are fun and they fit different markets. That's why they're out there, and that's why we continue to have the competition, and they help each other get better, right?
Yeah.
So that's the direction we headed with that.
Well, and even on the idea of like being able to compare sleds back and forth and try them back and forth too is like amazing. Actually, just in the last couple of years, I had done the same thing. I've been a Skidoo guy for a long time, but I've never considered myself brand loyal necessarily. Just always kind of like whatever I like, and I'm going to buy that. And so when the Alpha 1 came out, I actually was really intrigued with it. And in my mind, I was thinking like I'm going to buy it for my wife and kids and, allow them to be able to side hill easier and all that stuff too. And they got on, and it turns out they absolutely hated it. It was, too tippy for them, and they didn't, they wanted to go back on the Skidoos. And then I got stuck riding the Arctic Cat all the time, which I know, Aaron, you're a big fan of the Arctic Cat and all that. But yeah. And so I take it, Aaron, you're reading all the comments in the comments. It's probably a good thing to shut off and not be so distracted by it.
Okay, I will.
All right.
Anthony's over there running his mouth.
He is, yeah. I'm intentionally ignoring a lot of the comments just because I know it'll distract you guys, and so I didn't mention that ahead of the show time. But yeah, if you turn off,
it's pretty funny though. You have to.
It's good stuff. It's funny. Yeah. but I haven't, So anyway, I rode an Arctic Cat Alpha 1 for a couple of seasons as well as my Skidoos, and it was fun to be able to go back and forth and try them back and forth. And ultimately, I decided I'm more of a Skidoo guy. I like the way they handle, and the steering angle is a big deal, right? It's like the Skidoo steer way different than the Cats and the Polarises do, but the ability to get on and try them and just see what it's all about is really intriguing. And so I totally get the appeal to that. And then what about the?
Well,
go ahead,
in addition to that, the other hard thing is like you ride with a different group, and it's really hard to compare because you're on a sled that's built or has shocks and has suspensions, and so it's like, okay, I'm a Skidoo guy and I have this built the way that I want it. Well, you rent a snowmobile or you're just with somebody you don't know. It's like, okay, I do want to give that Arctic Cat a try, but it's just out of the box. It doesn't have the love that I would give it. So you can't really do a full apples to apples comparison. And this way you can, because everything's got the suspension. Everything's been set up with preload. Everything's got all of that stuff.
Yep. Nope,
so
absolutely.
you can do a realistic comparison this way.
Yeah. Well, let's dive into that a little bit. Like, what are the stuff, the aftermarket stuff that you guys are putting on these sleds? And I know I've heard you say out loud, like, I'm building these the way I would want them for riding them myself, right? So,
as far as a stalker goes, obviously I love boost, and I have to have it. So my own personal sled is boosted.
Yeah.
But if I'm not on a boosted sled, so predispositioning to ride a stalker, the biggest, most important thing is suspension.
Okay.
It's so overlooked and makes or breaks a snowmobile. And so Zebros is where we're at for that. We set that thing up with Zebro springs, or we just do shocks straight up. Like on the Arctic Cat didn't really have a good spring upgrade option. And so we did exit shocks all the way around on that from Zebros. But on the Polaris, Zebros has some fantastic spring kits that are super inexpensive and super functional, and so we put that under all the Polarises.
Yeah.
And then the boosters get the exit shocks and get built all the way around, and valve specific to our riding style and sprung specific to that, and all set up for that specific thing.
Yeah. So I'm going to go over to Ryan here for a second. Let's say I used to live in Minnesota, so this is a real scenario that used to happen. Is let's say I moved, or I didn't move, but I'm taking my 1 week long trip from Minnesota to West Yellowstone, West Yellowstone here to do some riding, and 2 days into my 6 day trip, my engine goes out of my sled and I need to get a rental. So I look in the, Google it, look up you guys, I run into you guys, or I heard about you on my show, and I give you a call. Like, talk me through what happens. Like, do I have to come down and get it? Do you deliver it to me? What are the pricing? Like, talk me through, like, what am I going to experience when I'm up in West Yellowstone and you guys how far are you guys away? You're not too far away, right?
Yeah, we're from West Yellowstone 2 hours, from Island Park an hour and a half.
But
so
you're in the neighborhood. When you're going that far from home, I'm already like over 1,000 miles from home. So as far as I'm concerned, you're in the neighborhood. So
yeah, well, and that's we are in this area that's an hour and a half, 2 hours from all of this great riding.
Exactly.
Right, but we're not in the riding location either. Right, we're not just a shop up in West Yellowstone or an Alpine or wherever. So we inherently understand that we need to make it also convenient for you as a customer, right? So we have options. I mean, of course, you want to come pick it up here in Idaho Falls, you're welcome to come pick it up. But we do deliver it and pick it up as well. There's a fee for that. And that just kind of depends on the exact scenario that we're running into, right? So a typical day, and Aaron says stocker, but the reality is none of our sleds are stock, right? They're at least improvers because they've all got suspension, they've all got clutching, they've all got some sort of an exhaust upgrade, whether it be a Boondocker or an HPS can. So, or whatever else we're going to put on there. Some of them have turbo, right? So, an improver starts out at $275 a day is where we're at. And so, for an improver, and then you're $325 for a boosted sled. So when we say boosted sled, we're talking about mine and Aaron's personal build. We're not talking about like a factory Skidoo turbo yet. It's on the list. We hope to get that. But right now you can rent mine or Aaron's personal build from the ground up. So, for that price. So,
and frankly, like the pricing you guys just quoted off, even that, full price that you just quoted, like, I mean, that's pretty reasonable prices all over the country. Like, I've gone to different places. I've looked up what sled rentals are. I mean, you're within a small percentage, maybe above or below where I've seen them, at too, but I've seen some higher, I've seen some lower. So you guys, as far as I'm concerned, for an improved sled above stock with suspension parts and everything too, like, I think that's a pretty sweet deal, but it gets even better, I've heard.
Yeah, so that's just for one day, right?
Yeah.
So 1 day, $275, right? And then within 25 miles of the Idaho Falls area, that's delivered and picked up for that. Once we get outside of that, there is a delivery fee. For instance, West Yellowstone would be $100 on top of that to get it delivered right to your cabin or wherever you're at, right? You don't even have to go anywhere. And we could negotiate that. But if you did rent the sled for multiple days, we're going to do a multiple day discount. Because it for me to drive up to West Yellowstone to drop it off just to pick it up again that night, that just makes it a bigger hassle for me. But if you're going to do it for 3 or 4 or 5 days, each day we're going to take a discount off. And so to give you an idea, doing a quote, like if you were to rent a sled in West Yellowstone, have us take it up there, drop it off, pick it up for a week, 6 days.
Get
an improver. You end up averaging like $265, $270 a day with the pickup and delivery fee. So
that's awesome.
It ends up being really competitive still.
Nope, that's very cool, very cool. And then as far as from my perspective, go ahead.
The consecutive days. So for every additional day you rent it, you take $15 off of the bill.
Yeah.
So the first day is $275. Day number 2 is $260. Day number 3 is $245.
Since we're all about giving each other, since we're all about giving each other shit, I'll just say he did say that, but you said it way better.
Oh, did he? Well,
that's okay.
He said it like an engineer will. Like farm.
It's okay.
He's like, you've had these gloves this whole time.
I'm like, we're just throwing that on the ground.
Just because I knew I can give you guys shit, I had to throw that out there. But yeah. So here's the thing, guys. And speaking of giving people crap, we're going to, in a few minutes here, talk about you guys' embarkment onto joining the Boondockers team and how you met. And so you guys have the opportunity to roast all of these folks in here. O'Berty, Gardner's on here, like all these folks are on. Here we go. So Dan Gardner's saying if we go 20, right? So I don't even know what that means, but he's still trying to heckle you.
Now that's a free day is what that comes out to.
Is that what it comes out to? 20-day rentals, I can get it for free finally? Is that what it is, right?
You get a free day out of it at that
there you
point.
go.
So
that's perfect.
For every 20 days rented.
But before we turn you guys loose on the Boondockers team, I want to have you guys talk a little bit about the avalanche safety stuff, because one thing I'm really impressed with personally, knowing how big of an advocate I am for avalanche awareness and safety, is that you guys have equipment available for rent as well, right? As part of the package, or is it for extra fee? Or talk about how that works.
We'll let Aaron go on that one.
We will have additional accessories to rent. We'll have both avalanche and clothing to rent.
Yep.
They will be an extra fee, but we're going to do super minimum. It's more important for us to have people out there that have the beacon and the shovel and the probe or the Avi pack or whatever they feel that they need to be safe, but they have to have something. And so, I mean, we really don't care about getting any fees for the avalanche gear. There is going to be a fee associated to it, but if it comes down to you not having it,
go or not go, right? It's gonna make a difference.
You're gonna get it. You know, it like doesn't matter. It'll be like whatever. Like, don't even worry about it. Just we want you alive. And so everything's gonna be really reasonable. It's gonna be small fees in association. We're in the process of building up our climb clothing that we'll have for rent. Initially, it probably won't be super extensive, but we'll be growing it and growing it and growing it. So if anybody has any clothing needs, all we need to know is just we need to know a little bit of upfront. And so if we know upfront, then we'll be able to get everything lined up. And so we expect to just we expect to be able to grow it on an as needed basis.
Yep. No worries.
Hey, Katie Bug.
Awesome. So
we'll be able to do it that way.
Yeah, no, that's great. And so, I know you guys have got a great program going on there too. And I know anything else on Stable Mountain Rentals that we've missed that you guys want to make sure we highlight before we move off that topic?
Well, as far as the rentals go, I mean, that's where we're at. I mean, we're working on having trailers, right? So a guy driving through town needs the ability to have one to rent 2 sleds and just hook up and go wherever he wants. So we'll have trailer setups. We've already got a deck that we can get in and out really quick and easy. So if a guy wants to rent a sled deck, a Marlin, by the way. So plug for you.
My favorite.
Even though I love my truck boss, and Robin will probably slap me for saying that, but it's just the ease and convenience of getting that deck in and out of a truck, right?
Hey, Robin's my buddy too. Truck bosses are awesome decks also, so you can't go wrong with either one. I just personally am a fan of the Marlin. So
So I mean, we are trying to make it as convenient as possible. Another market that I think we're trying to tap when it comes to the rental side of it is the younger crowd that's having a hard time affording some of these newer sleds, right? They're $15,000. They need the money. But for $300 for the day, they can go ride a decked out sled.
Yeah.
So,
well, and think about too, like not only just the younger crowd, but like think about these people who are like, I know people literally who are coming from the East Coast, like from New England, and they're coming out to ride mountains. And like they're driving a couple of thousand miles almost to get out to you guys, 15 to 2,000 miles. By the time they get a truck and a trailer and a bunch of sleds out there, like they've got a small fortune tied up in their sleds and the gas and like. Frankly, they could get in an airplane for probably $300-400, fly out to an airport near you guys, get a ride or a shuttle somehow, or get down to you guys, set up at the cabin, like they can get down to the cabin. You guys can deliver the sleds, ride for 3-4 days, and probably on an annual basis be way farther money ahead than taking 1 or 2 trips a year out like they maybe normally would, right?
Oh, for sure, man. And that's working out really good. And we've been talking to a few people about that. Once you start talking about airports, then kind of sky's the limit at that point. We've got one group that's probably going to fly into Salt Lake and go ride with Tracked Out.
Okay.
And then after they're done riding with Tracked Out for a couple of days, they're going to come up here and ride with us.
Okay.
And they'll be able to fly out of here and fly home.
Okay.
Or go back to Utah and fly to Utah.
Well, once they're done,
airports in Jackson, airports here, airports in Utah.
I mean, what I've heard about Tracked Out Adventures is it's kind of like a day spa. It's kind of a light event, and you don't really ride that hard. It's mostly just sitting around, eating lunch, shooting the breeze a lot. I hear they don't ride very much down there, and so by the time they get up to you guys, they should be really ready to hit it hard and ride hard, right?
Yeah, they're going to warm them up, get them all ready.
Yeah, maybe a little massage or something like that. He'll get them all warmed up and come up to you guys.
The guys in Utah are just little princess rides down there. And then when they come up and ride man's country in Idaho and Wyoming.
I heard they don't even have good snow down there. Like, that's what I've heard. DJ's giving us some ha-ha-has here. He knows we're busting our chops. And so speaking of DJ and you guys, why don't you guys highlight this? Is you guys have partnered with DJ on some like quote-unquote celebrity rides or some ride with Aaron and Ryan days with Tracked Out Adventures before, right? You guys have touched on that before? Yeah. Tell us about that experience that you guys had with him. Was it that bad?
Go for it, Aaron. Other than Aaron, well, Aaron doesn't like to talk about it because
there was that one incident that we don't talk about publicly anymore.
So last year or 2 years ago, Aaron went down there with DJ and rode for the Tracked Out with the Boondocker experience with Aaron Case.
Awesome.
And then last year, Aaron's like, "Hey, Ryan, can you come? Because I need you to haul my sled down." I'm like, "Okay, I'll go down with you."
Well, I heard the truth was that Aaron was scared to go back and ride DJ alone, and so he needed backup.
Probably
because of riding skills or because of.
I'm just going to leave that wide open. You guys can figure this out.
So we ended up going down, and that was probably our first little test of everything too, because we took my sled that was boosted. Took Aaron just grabbed a couple sleds from Boondocker. He just grabbed
I stole a couple sleds from Boondocker, luckily,
and a kitty cat. Right?
Yeah.
I took the high boost expert that they had.
Nice.
No, it was pump gas at the time. The pump gas expert, and then the stock Artie Cat Alpha.
Nice.
So went down, had a good time. I think DJ enjoyed us. He's invited us back for this year. We got a date in January, right? Like 19th, 20th, somewhere around
third.
So wait, I got a breaking news here. DJ in the comments says we invited Ryan, but felt so bad we said make sure to bring Aaron too. So.
Well, you wasn't supposed to know that.
I don't know why everybody's liking me so much with their comments. Maybe we should like Ryan a little bit.
Maybe the kid maybe the kid in the background of your shoulder will give some sympathy. Turn your head over so we can see your kid. What's your kid's name? Tell him hi.
Hey, Bingham.
He can say hi. What's going on? All good. I embrace it. I tell all my guests. I just tell all my guests, like, if you have the kids crash the party, just bring them in. Let's have them say hi and welcome them in.
You don't want that in this house.
You don't want that? No. All right. What were you going to say, Aaron?
Yeah.
You got a cookie or something?
I don't tell that to them because then they'll take it over.
Yeah.
But we got like this. They have like a little contest that they've developed themselves where they try to find me the largest frosted flake that they can.
Oh my gosh.
So that's what they're doing. Apparently they're eating frosted flakes.
That's impressive.
Makes sense at 9 o'clock at night.
The case household is on fire.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, so yeah, DJ is correct. Says these guys are a blast to ride with, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit too. But we can probably work that into our how you guys got introduced to Boondockers story, right? And so let's talk about the Boondockers film series and how you guys bumped into. Was it Dan that you ran into first, or was there somebody else you ran into first?
No, we ran into all of them.
Okay.
Well,
Were they in jail? Were they in jail? Did you guys have to bail them out, or what happened?
Well,
no, that would have gone better.
It's a worse story than that. We were kind of like the shy kids in the corner type guys.
Okay.
Kind of a couple of rookie noobs, kind of a couple of groupies. It is that bad, but it's not as that bad as that. Me and Ryan were working with a snowmobile club down in Utah called Rocky Mountain Sledders.
Okay.
And at the time, they were a really big club, and they had a really big fundraiser that they would do. And that was the attraction: is come on this fundraiser ride and ride with the Boondockers.
Yep.
And so, of course, me and Ryan knew who the Boondockers were, and so we helped organize and plan that. And then Ryan and I were also on the board. Helping develop new recruits and helping develop the website and kind of that
very cool
new kid type of thing. But it was your classic groupies going up to the band like, "You guys were the best, and it was so cool to watch you ride. We should get together and ride sometime." And Dan and Fatty and
don't tell me Smasher was there.
Caramels.
You didn't.
No, Smasher wasn't there.
Oh my
God!
Thank God.
That was a couple years after.
Because if Smasher was there would have been no getting his head through the door the rest of the month. It's like, oh my gosh.
No, Smasher and Anthony came from Team Summit. That was 3 or 4
Okay.
years after that.
All right.
And so that went a couple of years at that banquet, and it was like, hey, we should get together and ride. They're like, oh yeah, totally, get together and ride, awesome. And finally one year, it was like, hey, we should, let's do this, let's really do this. And it was like, got kind of the same, yeah, we totally should. And then I can't remember the specifics, but it was late winter, early spring. I get a call from some unknown number, and I'm like, hello, and it's like, yeah, it's want to go if you go Ryan. This is Dan Gardner. I'm like, no, it's not. He's like, no, this is Dan. I'm like, what? And I'm like, oh, sure, okay, yeah. I'm going along with it, thinking like Ryan put somebody at work up to calling me or something like that. So I go along with it,
which I would have done.
When, where. And then I call Ryan and like,
so
what
I'm hearing is you kind of had a man crush on Dan Gardner is what I just heard.
Still,
crush, disbelief. It was more of just like, right, okay. Dan Gardner called me to go snowmobiling.
Yeah.
He just needed like
he still never called me. Like someday
like,
maybe.
Hey, I got Andrew in town and I need help building this jump. And so he's like, that guy seems super eager. I'll get this groupie to come build this jump for me.
There you go.
Yeah.
Like I'm just jealous because Dan Gardner has yet to call me to go riding.
I just talked to. And I'm like, Dan Gardner.
Yeah, and I get a phone call while I'm at work.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm like, you want to go snowmobiling today? And he's like, depends, maybe, sort of, yeah, what, no, I can't, I'm at work, but yeah, I want to. Anyway, we get loaded up, we get to the hill, and we just mob it back in, because we're kind of new to Utah, right? So we have an idea of where stuff is at, but we don't really know for sure where it's at. And so we're just hauling balls up the Mirror Lake Trail, hoping that we don't go past Dan, and luckily we didn't. And there him and Andrew are. Dan's up there building a jump, and Andrew's trying to figure out camera angles and stuff like that. And so
climbing trees and everything else.
Yeah. And so we get done building it, and it's like obviously Dan's gonna go first, and Dan goes, and just like the most beautiful thing you'd ever seen, just perfect run in, no hesitation, perfect form,
just send it,
perfect pitch on the sled. Huge, you're looking up, just going like, holy cow, just huge air. And then me and Ryan look at each other like, you going next? He's like, I don't know.
Well, did you do paper, rock, scissors?
You got to understand, Dan is on an M7 like, that's been built by Vogue.
Okay.
And me and Aaron are running these basically stock 900 RMKs.
Oh, 900 RMK.
Aaron's was stretched out to a 162. Mine was a 159.
I mean, the 900 RMKs, I mean, are probably the sweetest sled ever made, right? I mean, you guys can vouch for that, right?
It really was the sweetest sled ever made, but we hadn't figured out the maintenance yet. And so, needless to say...
Maintenance as in, like, replacing the engine?
No, just maintenance.
Well, let's table that. Let's table the 900 RMK for later. Let's keep with the Boondock.
If anybody's got a 900, we can tell them how to make it run, because we limped those things long for about 5 years.
I heard there was a guy that had side hilled
800 miles out of my sled.
Yeah, I heard that there's a guy who's side hilled for like 30 miles on a one-skied RMK 900. Is that true?
Yeah, pretty much. And not just side hill, it was a right hand back. So
a right hand side hill on a 900 RMK, and so I had to do loopy donuts all the way out.
There you go.
Yeah.
Like corkscrews, we'll call it the corkscrew effect, right?
Yeah.
All right. So back to Boondockers, right?
I talked Aaron into going first because I was chicken. I'll admit that right now.
All right. So, you're man enough to say you were chicken. I get it.
Well,
I get it.
Man enough to no, he didn't. No, he did it in a true farmer fashion, right? Like admit no guilt, no retreat, no surrender. He's like, are you gonna do it? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, okay, I'm gonna do it too. And I'm like, are you going? He's like, and I'm like, okay, if you're not, I'm gonna go. I'm like, I'm feeling it. I'm just gonna go. And he's like, okay, he's like, I'm right behind you.
I'll take the camera. So I took the camera and took pictures.
Okay. And how'd that work out? Did you get some good pictures
Well,
of him?
Aaron ended up going.
Oh, I felt like I came.
Wait,
like 100 miles an hour, dude.
Dan
I felt
Gardner's.
like I came into that thing full throttle.
Wait. Dan Gardner says, whoa. Skipping a critical part of that story. Like, what are we missing, guys? What did you leave out?
I don't know what Dan's talking about.
I don't know what he's talking about.
All right, Dan, let us know in the comments what you're talking about, because maybe they already said it after you typed it in. Sometimes there's a little bit of a delay there, but I don't know what else it was there, too.
So I mean, something might have been going on while me and Ryan were having that conversation. As far as the chronologic order that I remember, Dan sent it huge, and it was absolutely beautiful and magnificent, and I couldn't believe it to see it in person like that. And then it was like, oh crap, it's time to man up and make it happen. And so then I turned to Ryan, and that's when we got stuck out. So that's when we got figuring it out.
So let me quote something here. So Dan says, "Watch out for his bird, man." Like, what's that part of the story?
That was later, I thought.
Oh, is that a different story? Maybe Dan's getting his stories confused.
Well, no, it's the same story.
Okay.
But I don't think it happened yet. Did it happen yet? Did it happen before or after we hit
So,
it?
hey, for anybody who's watching, okay, guys, anybody who's watching right now, do a screenshot right now and look at the smile on these two buggers' faces and go back to the beginning of the show, and I asked them if they were having a good time, if they were having fun yet, and they were like, yep, I'm having an awesome time. There's more than a smirk coming off the corner of your face now, Aaron. We got you moving. We got you rolling. You're having a good time.
So I don't have jobs anymore, so I show them every now and again.
Dan's gonna have to correct me if this isn't what he's thinking, but I kind of jumped off the cliff with the camera.
Okay.
And like landed post hold like straight up waist deep, couldn't move.
And a birdie's saying like the story's already changing. Like I think he's heard the story before, and he's saying you guys are like changing the story. I don't know.
Birdie wasn't even there again. Like a birdie didn't know how to snowmobile yet, so
probably true story. I wasn't there, so
it is a true story. So, anyways, that scene was my first debut on Boondockers and Boondockers 5. It was just me like helpless in the snow.
Post hold in the snow with the camera in your hand.
Just like,
up to his armpits. It was like boom. It was straight up to the armpit.
Awesome.
And so Ryan gets stuck, and we're like naive kids, and so we're all about helping each other out. Like somebody gets stuck, we drop what we're doing, and we go help. And so all of a sudden, Ryan just like straight to his armpits, and he's like, "I'm stuck. Like I can't even move." And here I come, just like snow sliding my way down off of the cliff that we're about to jump and stuff like that. I'm like, "I got you, man. I'm coming." And Andrew and Dan are like, "Who are these guys? Like, calm down. Like,
nice.
He's not going anywhere."
Yeah.
And then I'm down there just attacking the snow, trying to get it out of the way to get out. And Andrew's like, "Hey, man, be careful. Watch out for his bird." Apparently, I was getting a little close to the old nether regions there.
Oh, yeah. Careful you don't chop off.
Almost put a kibosh on those 5 kids.
It was just
payback. We
payback.
had 2 at the time, so we could have, probably should have. So
there you go. It was just payback from a whole childhood of torment and stuff. So before we move, anything else on I got a specific Boondockers question, but you guys have anything else you want to hit on the Boondockers stuff? Quick, otherwise go ahead.
Just real fast on that story.
Yeah. All right.
I feel like I gave this thing all the throttle she had. I felt like I hit it like 1,000,000 miles an hour. I went like 20 feet and flat landed on top of the railing.
To give Aaron the benefit of the doubt, like the 900 started and then it just dropped just like a rock because it's so
the stopped going forward and dropped straight like a rock. Like if you watch the video of it, it blows your mind. Because normally it's like an arc, right? And just the arc doesn't look right. This is an arc out 20 feet and then a sharp turn straight drop.
It was like
exactly. That's exactly what it was.
Like the Coyote and the Roadrunner cartoon. It just kind of went out and stopped, and he looked around and then stopped down. So I mean, that's the thing about the 900 RMK is it was the biggest issue it ever had was called gravity.
Yeah, exactly. Right?
Gravity was the biggest challenge of the 900 RMK. So what I want to know,
they kept inviting us. So
yeah, what I want to know is you guys probably, I don't know if you ever watched it or not, but we had an episode on here with Mr. Shane. Am I going to say it right? It's Kinnison, right? So Shane was on.
Yeah, Junkyard.
Yep, and I just need to know your best Shane story because Shane was a riot to have on. The heckling
best
was
Shane
at
story.
the
Oh,
Shane was
man.
at least this good. Like the heckling was at least this good on Shane's. You guys might be having a little better heckling than Shane did, but
Oh,
let's just tell us. Do you have a Shane? If you don't have a Shane story, we'll just go right to Smasher because that was my next one.
I have too many Shane
that's
stories,
the
dude.
problem.
I don't
Pick him
know.
just one out. So my favorite was probably the Stanley trip. With like, I was just like,
Right?
Shane, are you serious right now? Like, we just got you out of the creek. Why are you back in the creek? Like, did you not see that? Constant. It was the whole trip, like the whole time. It was just like, Shane, you know what? Just go back to the trailer
Does he
because you can't
ride?
stay out of the
I've
creek.
seen him in the water a few times in the year over the years of the pictures. Does I mean does he
Well,
wear
in
a
the
life
years
does he
past,
wear a
he's
life
been doing
jacket
it
when he
on
rides? Or?
purpose.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's built
Yeah,
in under the vest. That's why it looks so bulky.
Oh, is that what it is?
that's
It's
how
not
Climb. That's who they used to test the new Climb product.
the crash test
Yeah,
dummy
that
Shane.
new floating, jacket that they have.
That was an
That was all
invention by
Shane.
Shane. That was
Yeah,
Shane.
that was a personal request from Shane.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we need that.
Well, and
So
nobody ever wants to talk about Dan. Do you have any really good Dan stories, Dan Gardner? Like, I mean, is there any like just super fun, embarrassing moments of Dan over the years, or is he just perfect all the time?
No, I have some awesome, super embarrassing stories, but there's a problem. Dan's a little ninja.
Well, I've
And
heard
I
this.
don't
Yeah,
dare go up against the ninja.
like he's got like a
yeah.
triple
What
black
I
belt
know
in
is going to go to my
sneakiness.
grave.
Okay,
So
so
here's the problem
so
with
threats have been
digging
made.
dirt out
Threats
with
have been
Dan.
made. What's that,
Yeah,
Ryan?
like if you throw any dirt out on Dan, like you're going to throw a shovel, and Dan's going to come in with a dump truck
With a
and
dump
bury
truck.
you. That's just how it works.
Yeah.
Just
Right.
expect.
It's a
you
classic point a finger and you got three pointing back at you for sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
Dan's sharp
maybe
as a tack, dude.
that you got Dan like in a hole and looking bad. He's got like 30 of you
Oh yeah.
looking. So, and that was his goal. I know for a fact his goal when he would invite
All
me
right.
and Aaron to come down and ride with him or whatever
Yeah.
would be like, let's just see what kind of garbage I can get of these two guys. Like I know for a fact Dan's probably got like 30 of me doing a Rocky Mountain Scorpion. Like, know for a fact. Just going
right.
through this Utah POW, there's nothing in the field and no one's touched it. And Dan stops and pulls out the camera, tells me to go through it. You can't see the stump.
You find the
There's
rock.
not even a hump. And then all of a sudden, next thing I know, I'm going over the handlebars. Or he's like, hey, Aaron, see that stump over there? How about you just go jump off the stump? And then he giggles and pulls the camera out. It's like,
He's like, hey, Ryan, go hit
So
that
what I'm hearing is Dan manufactures all of these scorpions and these like creek crossings and these tree stump jumps. Like he kind of somehow is planting the
It's all
seed and
legit. It's set up.
subconsciously
I mean,
subconsciously setting all of you guys up for all of these epic
Oh.
crashes. Is that what's going on?
oh,
You
it
just
is.
don't
Yeah,
you don't know it until
Dan's
after it's
probably
happened.
one of the smartest people you'll ever meet. And
I
so
figured that. I knew
if
that
he
already.
starts playing dumb, you got to start watching out.
Yeah.
Like if he's all like, I don't know, blah, blah, blah.
All right, Dan.
He does.
Dan, we're all watching you. We're all watching you.
Yeah.
All right,
'Cause he
guys.
goes up there in the summer and scopes it all out.
Oh, I forgot to say it.
What? Go ahead.
That drop that I tanked. So like on the third or the fourth one, I was finally starting to like get close to the transition.
Okay.
And it was Ryan or Andrew or Dan. I don't know who snapped the photo, but that was Boondockers 5 was my first Boondockers cover. And it came from that first ride with Dan.
Cover boy. Ryan, have
So
you had the
that-
honor to be the cover boy yet?
So it
No?
worked out.
I did, but it took like 13 years later, something like that. Or
Well, at least you made the cover, right? Or was it just your
Yeah.
turn? Is that how it works? You guys draw straws? Is that what it is? Or just like the best shot wins for the season?
Oh, it's
whoever
like
gives
Thunderdome, man.
best
Like, you got to enter in. There's chainsaws. There's spikes. There's whips.
Wow.
It
gets
gets
pretty gnarly.
nasty trying to get that cover spot. You
Oh,
gotta,
yes. Oh, yes.
You gotta go after it.
And so I finally see her drop in. I haven't seen her out there for a while and stuff too, but Miss Jackie DeWolf is here in the comments as well now, and she said the secret's out now about Dan, right? But I don't know if you guys know this. Fun fact is I knew Jackie before all of you guys did. Did you guys know that she is from Brainerd, Minnesota, my hometown?
I
heard
did,
that.
yeah.
Yep. And so she actually came in and volunteered at a club event one time. I was running a hill cross race, and our club was volunteering. She came and put in some volunteer hours. I met her there in person. And then a few years later, I look up like, holy crap, there she is in the Boondockers movie in the credits. And like we'd stayed in touch. And Dan, I've run into them at the snow shows and stuff too over the years too. It's always cool to small world is what I'll say over and over again. Small world. So
Yeah, it is very small.
by the way, I like her better than all of you guys. Just saying.
Well, we all like Jackie better
Yeah.
than Dan.
What's not to like?
All right, so here's the thing, guys. We're like the show's already plenty long, but there's one story I can't leave out, and I'm gonna tee it up like this. I'm gonna be like, you guys believe it or not, we're an hour and 4 minutes into this show, and these guys, as you can see, are best friends. They've loved each other almost forever. But there was a point in whoa. There was a point in time. There was a point in time where these two were mortal enemies. Like mortal enemies.
Okay, all right. I'm like, you weren't there. You don't have proof. You don't know us.
Ooh, there's maybe a sub story I don't know about here.
Well, there's been a couple of nights.
Ryan's back there going, whoo, we dodged that bullet.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey, you got to spend the night on the mountain. You got to cuddle and stay warm, right?
Yeah, it gets cold.
It's got to stay PG, right? Like, is that the level
Exactly.
we got to stay on here?
But let's go back in time to the moment in time where the two of you were mortal enemies. Mortal enemies, and Ryan had a family snowmobile trip planned over the holidays. Let's go back in that time. Ryan, why don't you tee this up for us? Like mortal enemies.
Now, Pussy Brennan backed out.
Yeah, so we both grew up same town, and our middle school years we'd play football against each other. We never were on the same team. We just hated each other.
Okay, so before Ryan can keep telling that story, but they have to know, all right, that Ryan is the luckiest son of a that you will ever meet. Basketball, football, it doesn't matter. You should see this guy.
No skill, just luck.
Shoot a basketball.
No skill.
See this guy shoot a basketball.
Just pure luck. Pure luck.
The guy will punch him in the face, kick him in the groin. He'll be on the ground, bounce off of the ground, and with both eyes closed, throw it in the general direction of the hoop, and it'll ricochet off of that board, ricochet off of that wire, bounce off of the rim, and find its way into the hoop. I don't even know how.
It's all luck.
It happens in football.
Pure
it
luck.
Happens in
no skill.
And then he's like best.
It's kind of like how you ride snowmobile, right?
Who had this like high pitched, like ridiculous squeal, and like they would do these stupidest plays, and it would work, and it would go in, and they'd be like, "Where did
because I could catch a football."
Jordan would be like, "Go, Ryan, go!" And it just would be like, "You guys are the worst."
It's not my fault. You picked your teammate as Dan Fisher. I'm just saying you picked a bad teammate. So
I'm gonna just quote DJ Osborne from earlier in the show. He says, "Best show ever," and I'm just gonna agree.
So like the Little Giants, like you remember the show Little Giants, right?
Oh yeah.
Well, that's really dating us, boss.
And so, like Ryan and his cousin were like the Dallas Cowboys, and here I am, me and Dan Fisher, the Little Giants.
You're making it sound like we're beating up on you.
It did. It was. And so anyway, this set the standard for like losing to Ryan and Jordan, like my entire childhood. And so it just festered and built up, and it just like didn't matter what I did. Like I came in and like I would practice all summer long to be good at basketball, and Ryan wouldn't practice at all, and then he would just all of a sudden make all these shots.
I'll take it. I'm not good.
Jordan were like, suck it. And I'm just like, oh, I'm trying so hard and I still suck so bad. So I couldn't help it. I didn't like the guy.
Mortal enemies. Like I said, mortal enemies.
So right? what Aaron's telling you is I'm better than him. And so we go into like our 8th grade. We go into 8th grade, and I'd made this tradition of my parents would let me bring a buddy up with us to go riding for 3 or 4 days.
Okay.
And I was kind of rotating through my good friends. Aaron was never on that list. And I talked to my buddy.
I didn't want to be on that list.
Like, yeah, it wasn't the list he was trying to get on. Anyways, my buddy, like the day before we are scheduled to go, goes, "Hey, I can't go."
Bailed.
I'm like, are you serious right now? He's like, "Yeah." So I turned to my other buddy. I'm like, "Hey, you want to go riding?" He's like, "No, I can't. My parents are doing this." I was like, "I can't believe you guys are backing out on snowmobiling. Like, I don't care if your mom died. We're going snowmobiling."
Amen.
So here I am in the middle of class. I think it was like history or English class. And I'm just like, I can't believe it. I'm making this big scene, like crying like a little baby because my friends are ditching me to go snowmobiling. And Aaron's in the class. I don't even mind him. Don't even really pay attention. But then as class gets over, Aaron's like, or I just go like, I can't believe nobody wants to go snowmobiling. Is there anybody that's willing to just go snowmobiling this weekend for me? And Aaron, in his like, well, I hate the guy, but I really like snowmobiling.
Yeah, I'm no.
I
was actually sort of happy that nobody wanted to go riding with me because I'm like, oh, look at that clown over there. Nobody wants to go riding with the tool bag.
I've never had such a horrible show that my guest has walked off the show before.
So anyways.
Oh, now the camera crashed. It's a hot mess over there at his house.
Keep going on your story, Ryan.
So Aaron kind of slowly raises his hands, and I look at him, and we kind of our eyes lock, and we kind of have this, oh, I hate you, but snowmobiling's more important. So sure, yeah, let's go. So we decided to go snowmobiling. Well, this was a new thing for me too, because all my buddies don't have snowmobiles.
Okay.
And Aaron's like, I'll bring my own snowmobile. I'm like, oh, even better.
Dude.
So Aaron rolls up with this Indy 400.
Now that's an awesome sled.
Oh man, I thought I was the baddest mother.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's a sweet ride.
Don't take no crap off of nobody.
And I mean, it's not like I'm on something super good, but I'm on a Prowler 440. So it's not like I'm really rocking anything, but we go riding. Well, Aaron, if you know Island Park, our family's cabin's in the Village, which is on the north end of Island Park.
Okay.
And Aaron's family, his grandparents are living up there, and he has a house, and his family goes to there. So, and that's in Max Inn. It's just on the other side of the river. But you have to kind of go around by Big Springs. That's a big name. A lot of people that go to Island Park know where Big Springs is. But anyways, you got to go around Big Springs to get to Aaron's cabin. Well, it's time to take Aaron back to his house. And me and my family are just all about playing off trail as much as possible. That's how I grew up riding.
Yeah.
Really, nothing's changed. Just the sleds have got better, so we've been able to go more places. That's how I grew up. Aaron's family was a little bit different, but as he's following us, we're off in this meadow playing through this deep snow. And we say it's deep because 6 inches was super deep back then, right?
Well, if you're on an Indy 400 or a Prowler 440, the snow gets 6 inches is deep.
Yeah, it was deep.
Right? It was deep. It was crazy, like over the hood deep. Anyways, we're just tooling along, and I'm just buzzing. Snow's coming over this, like going up over this windshield, right, that's in front of me. And all of a sudden, I know that coming up is this creek, and this creek never freezes over. It's open all year long.
Yeah.
And there's a bridge you have to cross on it. In today's world.
Oh, and of course you got like the new guy, right? Like, this is my first real ride, and I'm trying to follow people, and nobody's telling the new guy what's going on.
Yeah.
Nobody's like,
we just assume you know how to ride.
Let's play. And so I'm like on the trail, and they're off like veering off and coming back, and they kind of go further away, and I'm just like, am I supposed to be following you guys, or? And I'm like, all right, you guys don't care. I don't care. Screw it. Let's go. So I started veering off with them, and then I kind of like, oh, the snow looks even better over there. So I went a little bit further, and then a little bit further, and all of a sudden I'm like, huh, I'm kind of by myself.
Yeah.
Huh.
Meanwhile, me and my dad have made it back to the trail, and we've stopped at the bridge. And we're looking back like, where's this cracker going? Like, doesn't he know that he can't cross right now? Well, guess he's going to find out.
Well, I'm imagining in like, what, a couple of feet of snow on an Indy 400, you were probably skipping along at, well, like 18.5 miles an hour probably in that deep snow, or what do you think? You got?
Oh, solid like 25.
25?
25 at least.
You got to understand.
John.
Are we talking track speed or ground speed?
Is there a difference?
There is actually on a snowmobile. I don't know if anybody's ever told you that before, but yes, there is a difference.
Track speed, dude. We're talking track speed's like 80, man.
Oh, okay.
What are you talking about?
So 25 miles an hour ground speed, track speed at 80.
No fear, buddy. Give
full
her the
pin.
girth.
Just send it, right?
Yeah, he's just to the bars.
And you're coming up on a creek.
Back
You're coming up on a
then,
creek.
So much different.
And you're coming up on this creek.
I didn't know I was coming up on a creek. I'm just I'm just carving, right? I'm just like, woo! This is the best day ever. Tooling along, and about the time that I realized that I was all by myself, like I couldn't see anybody to the side of me. I couldn't see anybody in front of me. And then I'm like looking. For some reason, I finally decided to look down, and I see this Grand Canyon coming at me.
Snake.
And I'm like,
it's like Evil Knievel. Evil Knievel launching over the Snake River.
Why, dude? For a 12-year-old kid on an Indy 400, might as well have been the Grand Canyon. And you got to understand, like, we actually got snow back then, and so the creek comes through and it cuts that snowbank, and so it's literally a wall of snow that is like no joke. The wall of snow was like 15 feet, 10 feet, 15 feet, and then you had like 8 feet of rock face before you got to the creek where this creek was coming through. It might have only been 5 feet of rock. Anyway, I'm like, holy crap. And so I touched my brake, like just barely touched my brake, and felt all my momentum throw me forward. And I'm like, that's never going to work. You're going to die. And luckily, without thinking, I just naturally just held it full and just gave it everything it had and leaned back and went over it. And I wasn't panicked and I wasn't worried because I didn't know what to think, right? Like I hadn't been riding before. Never wrecked before. I have no idea I'm just like, we'll see how this works out. And I just plow that bank just enough, but I was just high enough. My skis go boink, boink, and I went over.
Awesome.
And I'm like, woo! I almost died.
Did you see your life flash in front of your eyes? Yeah.
I did. And I got my poop in a group, went over to Ryan and his uncles, and just was like, oh, big gulps, huh? They were like, what the crap? What? You didn't see the creek? I'm like, what creek? I don't know what you're talking about.
And Ryan, I'm guessing Ryan was just excited not to have to go back and explain to your mom that he killed you.
Oh, yeah. I'm just like,
dude, I would not his mom that I'm worried about and an arm.
Kevin.
Oh, my dad would have murdered me. He'd have brought me back to life and then killed me again. It would have been horrible. And then the funnier part is the following year, it's funny now. It's funny now. It wasn't funny at the time. And at the time, I was in a real moral dilemma of what to do.
Moral dilemma?
My dad was talking to my uncle. Yeah, my dad was talking to my uncle because he had sold the 400 to my uncle.
Oh, no.
And my uncle was like, hey, I was in there looking and those shocks are like completely blown out. And then he's getting them rebuilt. Like, yeah, the guy said that they were like completely bottomed out and like was wondering what was going on. And I told him I didn't know. And I'm over there in the passenger seat going like, do I say something? I'm like, it's kind of already taken care of. I don't want to die. You.
All right, you guys. Here's
kind of let that one ride.
That was awesome. So you guys know DJ Osborne well enough to know this. I'm going to read this verbatim. He put this in the comments, but I enjoyed this comment so well. I have literally pulled it over into the show. So now across Aaron's chest, Ryan's chest, and my chest, here it says across the entire screen, it says, shameless plug. If you want to come ride with Aaron and Ryan this January here in Utah, here's the web link. And he dropped out the web link too, and it's in the comments. And of course, if you go in the comments, you can click on it. And so I don't know. I mean, based on what I just heard, I'm either really, really, really going to want to ride with you guys, or I'm going to run the other way as fast as I can. Like, people are going to go either way, but I think you guys have successfully told the story of Ryan and Aaron.
Well, spoiler alert, last year on the Ride with Ryan, Aaron and Ryan. Hey, DJ, we need to change that to Ride with Ryan and Aaron, not Aaron and Ryan.
Yeah.
Sounds better.
Well, it's alphabetical. It's alphabetical. It's alphabetical. It's alphabetical.
Anyways, alphabetical. I love it.
Aaron drops my snowmobile off like a 60-foot cliff into a face plant. And my sled just like, he gets up and he's like, sorry about your sled, bro. What was that all about?
Oh, you guys weren't there. Like, you should have heard the stress in my voice. Like, dude, I'm sorry about your sled. Oh my gosh.
Awesome. And
I jump up like I'm on a pogo stick. I'm like,
yeah.
oh crap! I completely pile drove his
Well,
sled.
I lied. And let's be honest, guys. Like an hour and 18 minutes normally with my shows, I would have been like, okay, guys, we need to cut this off around an hour. But like, I am just having way too much fun just to quit this, right? And so I've got one more story I want you guys to talk about and to tell a little bit, right? So stories, right? But maybe not a story, but like, there's this thing that, when I was listening to Ryland's podcast, you guys made a really, really bold, I'm just going to say it, bold, BOLD, bold statement that in your guiding service that you're about to launch, you guys are, did I hear it right? Guaranteeing fun. Guaranteed fun. Let's talk about
Yeah, it
guaranteed
is
fun.
bold for
Let's
sure.
talk about
bold.
guaranteed fun. Like,
It's as bold as Aaron's face right there.
well, that's bold. That's bold. But guaranteed fun. Guaranteed. Like, why and who in their right mind would guarantee fun? I mean, do you have an insurance policy to cover guaranteed fund? Like, what if I, at the beginning of this show, when I looked at Aaron and I said, like, Aaron, are you having a good time? He goes, like, yes, I'm having a great time. Like, I could tell he wasn't having a great time yet, but I knew it was coming. And I warmed him up here. But like here we are now. Like I can say like I think these guys had some fun on my show, and so I can guarantee they had fun. But at the beginning of the show, could I have guaranteed them that they were going to have fun? Is that possible? Tell me about it, guys. Tell me about guaranteed fun.
It's the Ryan and Aaron guarantee. Just what it is. It doesn't matter what it is, what we're doing, where we're at. It's the Ryan and Aaron guarantee. It's going to be fun. It always is. You might think you're going to die.
You might die.
One of us is going to die.
Yeah.
We have yet to kill anybody, but we always talk about it, and it's always a good time, right?
Just like tonight's show. It's probably the most fun show I have ever had. You guys guaranteed at the beginning of the show that I was going to have fun, and here we are at the end of the show, and I had fun. And so let's talk about what you guys are going to do to make sure that people have guaranteed fun out in the mountain, and why is it that you can guarantee fun? Like, why is it that happens?
Well, it comes from just all of the combined experiences that we have, John. We've ridden with so many groups. It's something that Ryan and I have always liked to do. We like riding with new people. And so last year and the year before specifically, we've gone out of our way to ride with those people that are always like, hey, we should get together and ride. And so we reached out to all those guys over the past couple of seasons, and we're like, hey, let's go ride. So you're riding with people that don't have a lot of experience getting off the trail. It's like their first time doing anything off of the trail, all the way up to the people that have been riding off trail like we have for our whole lives that are super comfortable in whatever terrain. And since we like that, we're not feeling put out. We're not upset that we have to tailor it. Since we've done it so much and we've ridden with so many people, we can recognize a lot of that stuff up front, and we can tailor it to it, and we can read people. And then we're super open. And we talk with people a lot and banter a lot, and we help people feel comfortable that they can share with us where they're at. And so like last year specifically, we took a group in that they were all seemed really, really capable. But as the ride went on, we were able to make some readings, and we were able to get with the guys away from the other group and be like, hey man, you look like you're having fun, but it looks like it's getting a little bit too much for you. Just be straight with us. Is it too much? And he's like, yeah, it's hard to admit, but yeah, I think it is. And it's like, well, like, we talking like a lot or a little? And so you just talk through it with him, and he was like, oh, it's more like that. And then we changed course, and in about 10 or 15 minutes, we got him in a different area, got that whole group in a different area. The other group had no idea. They were still having just a blast, and it was even more easy for them. Get that guy in there. And now he's in an area where he can ride and not just get stuck all the time. And so he's able to maintain his energy. We get with him a few minutes later. He's like, dude, it was so awesome to like I didn't feel bad for saying that I couldn't ride. He's like, I didn't, like, after I got done singing, he's like, I didn't feel bad. I didn't feel like I was being belittled. And then you changed it. Not only did I say it, it was one thing to say it, but he's like, you actually rode in a different place. You took us to an actual different place with a different skill level. And he's like, I'm having a blast now that we're over here, and this is fun.
Yeah.
And then we ride with a group that are trail guys, and we play with them off into the creek drainages just off the trail. And so they felt super comfortable. We get back to the truck. They're like, dude, that was the best ride ever. It was so nice. Now that we've seen it done, we can go off trail next time, and we'll have a fun time. And so that's where that guarantee is coming from, is that we ride according to the group that we're with. We don't ride to stroke our own egos or anything like that. That's just something we just love to ride, and we want other people to love to ride. And so we adapt the way that we ride with the group that we're with, so that we can have fun, and then they can have fun. And
so I'm gonna call
several years of showing that's what happens.
Are you going to talk about Dan's comment?
No, I missed it. What did it say? Yeah, see, Chris Farley and Tommy Boy guarantee.
Shit in the box, like a stamp of guaranteed on it.
We got time.
Now.
I got spare time.
All right.
Build model airplanes.
I know, right? But here's the thing: is like what you just described, though. Like to have somebody who can ride at the level you guys ride, and be able and willing and still very happy and excited to go ride with people at any level to make sure that they're having a good time. I'm just going to say it out loud. Like, that's very familiar to me because literally just yesterday, I was hosting what we call a beginner ride, and we spent 45 minutes in the parking lot teaching people how to set up their brakes and their throttle and their suspension. And then we went up in the mountain to just an open, tracked out field and gave everybody an opportunity to ride in a flat area and get their sled on edge or to practice a downhill U-turn or just a free ride on their own, whatever they wanted that day. And I told myself, and I'm driving up the road with my wife in my truck, and I'm just like, hey, honey, today it's all about everybody else. Like, I'm just happy to be on the mountain and have a good time.
Yeah,
and so, but my experience is that mindset is a rare mindset. Most people are like, they wouldn't. And honestly, the snow park was almost empty. It was a beautiful sunny day, but the avalanche conditions were green. It was low avalanche conditions. Snow was hard and set up as our typical Cascade concrete. So a lot of people just stayed home, even though the weather was beautiful, right? And, here we were having a blast out there. And the mindset of people is like, unless it's a POW day, unless I can go hit my favorite area, it's just not worth going out. But it's that the people like yourselves and frankly myself too, who enjoy it for the reason you just described. I know why you can guarantee fun because I see it every time I go out. It's so amazing. It's so much fun to get out with people and just show them a good time. So.
Oh, and some people they just want to be them. They don't want to get pushed either. And you got to let them just enjoy the snow. That's what it's about.
Yep, 100%. I recognize that all the time too, and we're out in our groups. It's like some people like, hey, we don't need to push you to get your sled up an edge. Just go right around in that open area there and have fun. And when you're bored there, let me know and we'll go do something else. It's like we'll just kind of keep mixing it up for you. Awesome, awesome.
And that's what we want. Like when people get done with a tour, that's what we want. Like it was so cool to go out with these guys in McCall and a few other places, and to just hear them after the ride just talk so highly about it, and they just kept using the word fun, and that was cool. And for them, it wasn't really about us. It was about they really seemed to love snowmobiling after that ride and after that experience. And they just, you could see that they came closer together as a group and they loved snowmobiling more. And that's really what it's about. That's what we want.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Absolutely awesome. All right, guys. Like in spite of my common sense of telling me we should have been done 30 minutes ago, we're still here. Obviously, I forgot my common sense in the other room tonight.
My wife goes, when I tell Bethany, I'm like, hey, I'm going up there, and she's like, oh, I'll see you in like 4 hours then. Like an hour?
No, like an hour tops, right? 4 hours later, you come crawling back home, right? Awesome. All right, guys. So I guess here's the thing: is last call for any topics you feel like we missed tonight. We can wrap this up in the next 5 minutes or less. If you guys have anything on your mind that we haven't talked about, open mic for a few minutes here. What have we got?
Part of the tours, part of the rentals, part of what Stable Mountain is going to be is avalanche safety and just safety in general.
Yep.
And so we're developing ourselves, taking area level 1, level 2. Rescuing courses and stuff like that. And so that's something that's super important and we take very, very seriously. We have a lot of avalanche experience, and some of that experience is bad experience, but yet we're letting that teach us on how to handle that and be better prepared for it. And so Stable Mountain is going to also be a place in Southeast Idaho that you can get your avalanche education.
Awesome.
And right now, Southeast Idaho, there's a lot of people in our area that are passionate about it and trying to grow it. Yep. That's something that we're about trying to grow. And then we're going to try to take it to that next step of trying to get classes and you can actually officially grow it and get the paperwork and get the documentation and have the training.
Yeah. And with that being your guys' goal to get into motorized avalanche education, that is 100% what this giant sweepstakes and the Live Large University scholarship program is all about. And, I would encourage folks like yourself, including yourself, to apply for that, right? I know for the short term for this season, they're looking to have those applications in like tonight. So as soon as the show's done, if you haven't dropped it in, try to get it in as soon as you can.
Should I get that?
And it's actually it's not too, and
so.
it's a good plug for the university too. Here, so I'll just tell you is that if anybody else is watching too, or will be watching this, there's a link on the area website you can go into under scholarships and stuff too, and you can look for that. It's called the Live Large University Scholarship Fund. Go in there, and there's a questionnaire you can fill out. I think it's like 5 questions, and really our ultimate goal is to identify people who are willing to then reinvest back into their community, whether they legitimately want to go on to be a professional educator themselves, or if they're just a enthusiast, a recreationalist who is passionate about it and looking to educate other people, influence other people in their club or their community to get avalanche education. But bottom line is we're looking to plant seeds with this money to continue to let it grow and impact the sport. And knowing what you guys are doing and what you're up to, I think you guys would be awesome candidates at that. So, ARI does a lot of the voting on it as well too. I have a vote on there, and I know guys like you would have a vote for me for sure. So,
yeah, definitely, man.
Well, I appreciate it, John, and appreciate all the work you did on that. That's awesome. So we're hoping, we went through a timeline the other day,
substantial,
and
man.
I think we can get all of our training in. We've already started some of it, level 1. So we're focusing on the rescue and getting a pro level 1, but hopefully by 2023 or 22 even possibly be able to start offering level 1 courses here in Southeast Idaho through Stable Mountain. So
awesome.
It's just going to cram all that in as much as we can. So, and that hopefully that helps us too. And we appreciate everything you did to promote that and get that where it's at.
Yeah, no, awesome. Yeah, the money that we raise for it honestly should last at least 2 seasons, if not into a 3rd season of scholarships. The good and the bad part is there's a lot of money there now, but there's just a limited capacity based on current availability for level 1 classes, pro level classes. There's only so many of those a year across the country, and as we've inspired people to get on board, getting more educators to get in there and train more educators is going to be an ongoing battle. And so it's definitely we've hit that tipping point, and it's going to continue to grow going forward. 5 years from now, this shouldn't be the same issue we're dealing with today, where right now you can't, even though we have the money, we just don't have enough spots to put people into right now. And then gaining the interest and stuff too. So cool.
Yeah. That's our problem. That's the only reason it's going to take so long is getting into those classes. So.
Yeah, but that's, the hopefully that shows everybody though that this isn't just a fly by the seat of your pants kind of like, oh, let's whip everybody through education. There's definitely a process in place there that will get people ready to become the educators that they need to be. It doesn't just happen overnight. It does take time and experience with training on the mountain, and then more training, and then back on the mountain, and all that experience is what gets you to the point where you're ready to train people. So it's the right thing to do.
And it's really scary when you don't have that training, and that's something that has awoke my senses in years past, is coming up on a situation where you see a little avalanche in a normal area that you've been, or you have a close call or something like that. You're like, how prepared? Or
you watch a
buddy
really get buried.
Yep.
You're like, how prepared am I really? It's like, when was the last time I pulled my beacon out? When was the last time I practiced with it? When was the last time I probed?
Oop.
Oh,
remember all that?
Avalanche.
Talk about it. Talk about
all that stuff. When you remember all that stuff and realize how poorly prepared you are, it really scares you, and that's really frightening.
Yeah,
it's a really frightening feeling.
Oh, absolutely. Ryan, any other final thoughts?
No, I think we hit on everything. We appreciate it, John. Looking forward to getting our first customers. We've got guys already got sleds booked out, hitting the snow on the 18th, 19th, and 20th, and
very cool.
Just going from there. So we're excited to get some positive feedback, and that's, I guess, the other thing. Like, we're looking for feedback from customers too, as they go out on these snowmobiles and rent them, and as we finalize the paperwork and everything to get that touring and that guiding capabilities, we'll get that out there too. So
very cool, very cool. Well, I wrap up every show the same way. I want to say thank you to you guys both for showing up here tonight and if nothing else, entertaining me and a whole bunch of people out there. We had an awesome time, but at the same time, I know we did a good job of showcasing what you guys are doing in your community, as well as with the stable mountain rental, facility, as well as your guiding that's coming and your avalanche training that's coming. I think we've done a good job of telling your story tonight, and hopefully people were entertained along the way, which has always been the goal of my show. Is 80% entertainment, 20% education. Tonight we might have been entertaining the whole time. I'm just saying. So, all right, guys.
Oh.
Well, thanks for putting it together, John. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, no, it's super fun. So God bless everybody. Live large and have a great night.
Thanks, John.